And we are live. Happy Friday, everyone. Thank you for joining us and returning and all the great questions and comments that are going to show up here in the chat. Today, we are joined by someone whose presence you feel the moment you meet her. She's a medicine woman, a healer, and someone who has walked through profound life experiences and transformed that journey into helping others remember their own power to heal. Mm-hmm. I'm very honored to welcome the beautiful and powerful Icasiana Bars.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And Amber and Shannon are with us. Y'all know our beautiful people. And so thank you for joining us. This is wonderful. Hi, Emily. This is wonderful to have you. There are so many fascinating things about you. So I did pick a few little questions here and there, and I'm going to put them up on the screen just to keep the flow of conversation going. But, I had the incredible pleasure of meeting Icasiana and her friend and partner. Would you say that what's a better title than work partner?
Well, just a medicine woman. Just
okay.
Fellow medicine woman. Yeah. Naomi Sosi.
Yes. So I went to a retreat in Sedona in 2022, and you were hired to help facilitate, and it was a really good idea. You were truly the best part of that, and that my experiences with you both is what I took away and learned a lot from, and I was left with so much respect for you. So that's why I'm very excited that you're here.
Aww.
Hi, Barbara. Okay, so I thought we would start out with what inner shift helped you move from surviving your life experiences to becoming someone who helps others heal?
That's a great question and very deep because, it's not just one thing, right? It's the culmination of all things. And, my book is coming out at the end of April. It's called Pushing the River, My Uncharted Path to Self-Love. So it's literally for about 48 years, I pushed the river. I thought, you got to work really hard. You have to do these things. And it was a lot about shifting that energy, during that time of trauma, death. There's so much in there because, it starts off with my father drowning, saving me and my sisters. So it's very much about the trials and tribulations of my personal life. But as I went through that, it was almost like, oh, this is why I received that lesson, that initiation, because then I'm going to be dealing with a lot of people with loss.
Yeah.
And then my husband of 18 years got sick, and for 7 years, helping him transition, he had Lou Gehrig's disease, ALS, and he was very much a controlling being, very controlling. And Lou Gehrig's disease is like the disease that is, you can't control anything, And so during that 7 years process was really learning compassion and unconditional love. And so it's almost like you're being initiated layer upon layer to serve. We're here to serve. This is why we're on this planet. And when we realize it's not work, it's who we be, how we bring presence and space for the healing to happen. It's not us personally doing it. It's, the great spirit, the energy that is surrounding us at all times. So I think it wasn't one particular shift, because as a little kid, I knew I could heal with hands-on as a child. And then in that drowning accident I had, I passed over, and then it was almost strengthened, that whole realm, that through a near-death experience. So I just think it's amazing, to be alive and to be in presence with people and to see their godliness. And that's my work and it's my joy. So yeah, I hope that answers that question.
Sure, sure. Well, when were you consciously aware when you were going through these experiences that would take most people down? Were you consciously aware that you were being guided and taught something, or did that come afterwards?
After I, cussed at God and said, "What the fuck?" Excuse
Yeah.
me.
No, go
Whoa.
ahead. Go ahead.
you know, like, then,
Yeah,
you just start to realize that there's nothing, I'm not a victim to this. This
right.
is for me is specifically. And
Mhm.
so I would say things like, really? You think I can handle this? Come on,
Yeah.
now. And I try to negotiate that, but I had a sense, but not a full knowing at that time.
Yeah. Because you have done well. You're that person that when you walk in a room, like you're, I could feel your power and your energy, and it wasn't intimidating. It was very inviting, but I also knew that I was going to learn a lot from you.
Mhm.
And so you've been able to transmute all these experiences, but then make yourself available for others in a very humble way, without um, giving your power away and without compromising who you are. It's really impressive. And I don't meet people like you very often. Um, and so I I valued the experience, you know.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Sure.
It's funny because we sometimes don't see ourselves, and this is why I do a lot of mirror work with my clients. Is like really get to know you and your soul being because you're everything. You're just everything, and so to be humbled by that, I mean, it makes me cry because it's like so beautiful to assist people to have them remember who they are and that we've the inundation of all the programming and all the blah, 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 noise,
Hmm.
but to come into like your holy coherence is like it's I mean you just can't help but help people right,
Yeah.
you're just exuding it and you don't have to work at it. It's beautiful.
Yes, yes, because you were clearly given the tools to be able to handle what you were about to be able to offer others, and not do it through ego and not slip into victim consciousness, and be awake. A lot of people grasp at, I would assume that their first intention really is to help other people, but then the moment they get any type of validation, or like, I think a God complex comes really quickly and comes hand in hand. And so
Ooh,
there's a moment when you absolutely reject that, and just say, no, no, I'm here to serve. Amber and Shannon, what do you think? I don't want to.
You
I have.
know, one of the things I'm curious about, because I've heard people describe it a couple different ways, is like when you're walking through like the heart of a trial, a learning experience, a dark day, whatever you want to call it, did you constantly still feel, because like I said, I've heard two different ways. Like, did you feel optimism and even more connected spiritually then? Or was it sort of a barrenness and then you came back to it?
that's a really beautiful nuance layered question. There were times when it felt like I was alone, like super alone, and there was you know and more so because not many people are watching their their man, slowly die in front of you, and he dies at 48 years old.
Yeah.
Like that's not right. And he was this beautiful, man, and a military officer, very much in command and in charge. So there were times when I'm like, what is this for? Like, why am I experiencing this? And so I felt alone, but there was always this sense of, you will know, and you're not there yet. So I had to, that's the work. That's walking in the native culture. We call it walking the red road. And it's not easy. I much prefer the golden path. I'll tell you that. It's like, whoa. And that's really moving from the mental to the heart, to really know thyself. And so it's and that's why for people that are really struggling, I really recommend going there. And hopefully you have support and help, and I'm, go to my website. It's behindbars.com. So it's like, there's a metaphor for that, that we are imprisoned by our thoughts, by our programming, by our our culture, and we need to break free from that mental imprisonment. And so that's what I saw, Shannon, was I'm not a prisoner of this. This is my path, and I need to walk it. And I had 2 small children at the time, and so they just watched that.
Yeah.
And I made big mistakes. I mean, but I'm so happy that I got here, because this is fun. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And just, I went through cancer in 2014. That was like, whoa, that was a big shock. But it was another teacher.
Yeah.
My teachers show up in the weirdest places.
I think you got it all out of your system. I think, not to make light of anything that you went through, but like you hear other people's stories and they seem dramatic. And then, to meet you and not know that all of that was part of your past, and just to be in your, like in the presence of someone who's so positive, what, like you, man, I wish everyone else could release themselves. But what a wonderful role model to dedicate yourself and create a whole business, or I don't even like to call it that anymore. Like work and business are words that I don't even want to use anymore.
Yeah.
A platform. I like that word, platform, for some
platform.
Because so in 2004, that was the year that my husband died. That was the year that the grandmother medicine came to me. It was through a journey which was unbelievable. The transformation, where I actually went through the depths of hell, all the hell realms, for like 6 hours, and just like, it was supposed to be a concentration where you're supposed to be quiet, and I didn't know that. It was my first experience, and I'm writhing and screaming and I'm seeing. And
it's your experience. Yeah,
it was just so radical to me, because I come from the corporate world. I was, in Silicon Valley. I was just this, executive, whatever. And it was so funny to be like, oh my gosh. So that was that big initiation. And then 6 hours of absolute bliss. So I got to see both sides of it, the deep, deep shadow and the highest light. And so that helped, because then it was like, oh, it's all happening now.
Yeah. And you don't want people to go through trying times, but you really cannot appreciate the light unless you've had the dark.
That is so true. That is the truth.
And it changes how, when things come in the future, when something, an upset comes, you don't give it the same amount of power that, like when you've been through what you've been through, burning out of gas or blowing a tire or whatever.
Yay!
Like, dude. Amber, have you done ayahuasca?
I've only microdosed it. I'm so sensitive that I don't do much medicine, or it doesn't take much for me, and I'm already there basically.
Yeah.
So I've never had that strong call to work with her. My partner Jay has worked with her many times, and like I said, I have microdosed it, and I love it, like on a microdose, but it's like she's like doesn't mess around, like my partner can't get away with anything when it's like I'm just like, what? It's like just straight to the truth of what is going on in the moment in your face. It's like so I definitely have a lot of respect for that medicine, and eventually I maybe will experience it, but for the past 2 years, I feel like I've been on a journey with her without the medicine.
Yes.
And I've been going through vomiting, purgings, all kinds of craziness the last 2 years. So it's like, it was almost like, she's like, all right, we're going to go on a journey, but you don't even have to take me. And it was a wild adventure for sure. But just,
That's amazing. Amber, the thing you said too is like a lot of people have these boxes, do ayahuasca, do peyote, do this. It's like, no, let the medicine call you. Don't be like seeking it and, I got to do this. I got it. And what happens with that is there's a spiritual bypass, right? We see people, and what you spoke about, Kimberly, is the God complex. That is so detrimental to this journey and walk, because you're basically, a lot of times I've seen medicine people that are really not medicine people, truly bypass and guiding people from that level. And it's like dangerous. It's very dangerous.
Very.
Well,
Kimberly, your mic is cut out.
Okay. My bird has been singing, and so I didn't want it to interrupt. Thank you. We have been programmed to believe that we are supposed to find someone to save us. We're supposed to go to mentors, go to mentors by all means. Yes. Go to someone who has done some research and been through some stuff, and then have a conversation with them, but don't idolize them, and there is so much of that in the spiritual community, and it's such a letdown, because people do get to great heights because of social media, because of the way things are, and when you're holding an audience, you have so much responsibility to be authentic and to trust yourself, but not work through ego, and it's, for me though, it's so obvious right away that like, I know instantly if I'm going to vibe with someone or not, and I don't need to challenge them. I don't need to, whatever. I used to do stuff like that when I was younger. But to find someone that is able to help you shift and change. I just look people that look for solutions, and that don't get stuck in victim consciousness, and don't tell you to constantly repeat your trauma. Like, yes, we're talking about things because we're getting to know each other, but once you have shared it and once you have worked through it, it's just part of your story.
That's why it was so difficult. It took me 10 years to write this book, because I had already gone through the healings. And so it was like, I don't want to have to tell this story. And then Spirit's like, you tell this story, because people need to realize that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a pot of gold at the rainbow. But I had written it the first time with all the spiritual teachings and the trauma. So, so my editor said, you need to pull out all the spiritual teachings. People need to know you from your trauma and your resilience and all that. And so we pulled it all out. So that's the book. The next book is called Take Me to the River, and that's the spiritual teachings. But it's so I told in the acknowledgments, I said thank you to Lauren Larson, who was the editor, and I said thank you for making me pull out all the unicorns and rainbows and really write the grit, because I agree now. It's like it happened for purpose, all of this. So the trauma is the story, is a story, but it's trapped in people's bodies. So they say the issues are in the tissues, or the body, keeps the score. It's real. And so I think a lot of the bypassing happens because we don't want to look at our shadow, or we think we're better than that. And it's like, no, that was the grit. That's what that's like the diamond, the pressure and the fire to create that diamond comes from heat and pressure. So if you want to be a diamond being,
yeah, well, it's courageous and brave to bring up things that you went through and to just put them out with no apologies and sharing your experiences. But in observance, what I'm observing is people need to hear your stories because they want to find someone who has also gone through what they're going through. And then they're so lucky to find you, because you don't just leave it there. You say, okay, this happened. We're acknowledging this. This is a chapter. This is quite a few chapters, but now let's find the solutions. Now let's break through and never allow this to define us. And
exactly,
it is really important to you have to explain where it came from. So, wow. Wonderful.
And stories, when we tell the story, people's egos get bypassed. It's like they're in the story, just like watching a movie, and they're experiencing it. So then they're not judging it. They're not coming from a judgmental. If you're trying to teach them whatever, it's like but if you tell the story, everyone can relate to the story. And that's how the Hawaiians actually, say, and I'm sure the Native Americans, it's about the telling the story, and that's how the people remember it and experience it and pass it on.
That's right. Yeah.
Spiritual experiences and stuff,
And listen too, not being a defensive listener. When your audience is listening just for entertainment value, because that's what we're teaching right now in our culture, when you can get rid of that and you are so compelling and authentic that you're speaking, like soul recognizes truth. So when you're speaking to their soul and they recognize the experience and how it changed you and how it shifted you, they recognize the healing that's going to come if they participate and work with you. So this next question, you've already started explaining it a bit, but I thought to pose, what does it mean to walk as a medicine woman and a healer in 2026?
So all of us are healers and all of us are medicine people, right? It's our medicine, whatever we're walking with in our being, based on our past, our experiences, and most importantly, what's truly integrated and embodied, which would become wisdom, right? So I'm slowing down. I'm going to have my 65th birthday this month. So I'm so excited. And I feel like the medicine that I'm here to provide for people is the book, because I can reach a bigger audience. I will still do group sessions, and I will do, deep dives if people are interested in going. It's like a 3-day journey, and you'll meet your soul and really get to know your soul. So that's beautiful. But I think it's just more of just being in the present moment with my grandkids, because when I think about why they're here, and they chose to be here, right? We all chose to come in at certain times on certain rays of light, and their joy. And so what I would love to teach them is just through example, but ceremony, to bless their water, to bless their food, to just the simplest little acts of remembrance, that it's so sacred. And there was a medicine man that said something to me years ago, and I always say it at my gatherings. It's "Tu eres sagrado," you are sacred. And so it's just that reminder that we're all sacred beings, and we're all coming in different, flavors and different pasts and so forth. So just walking it with integrity, and in the Navajo or the Dene culture, they call it the beauty way, and walking in hozo. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. And then the other word that I love is ometakiasin, which is Lakota for all my relations. So, you're in relationship with everything and everyone, no matter whether you're sitting in front of them or not. You're affecting the whole field. So, so I just want to assist people in raising their vibe. It's like that.
Mhm.
And however we get there, it's all good,
Yeah. Were you taught the way, like, was your foundation when you were really young through your ancestral ways?
I wish. My great grandmother was Cherokee, Eastern Band, but she got married off to a coal miner in West Virginia and was beaten. And so we never had, the indigenous way, but it came to me in 2004. That's when I started really going deep in the earth-based wisdom. But I was raised Catholic, went all the way through to high school as a Catholic, but I was always questioning it because I was like, something is really off and missing here. And it was the relationship, the omitakiasin, my relation to all. So I feel like, for each person, it's just find your gold inside, like just, and live from that. It's like, it's so fun. It's like,
Well, and how interesting that it took you until a major crisis to actually meet yourself. Like when I have a session with somebody, and I always tell them the answer is always you. It doesn't matter what the question is, the answer is always you. And but like, you have to be ready for that. You have to respect your instincts and your truth and your voice, and you need to shut out all the other voices that answer, like people who have bullied you, or parents that were dominant, or teachers, and all of those voices that drag you down. You need to get rid of all of them so you can actually hear your own voice. And that's probably what a lot of major life accidents and changes and tragedy do. It gets rid of all the other voices, and it reminds you of who you are.
Yeah. And it simplifies it, because when you realize we're all walking through this life, and some, with our eyes closed, we're not listening, whatever it is, little monkeys. I
Yeah.
remember that as a kid. I was like, God, those monkeys, that's so interesting. Not seeing it, hearing it, speaking it. But but I knew something early on. I have a funny story. So I thought life as a little kid was just magical. So my sister and I were in Prunedale. We lived in Prunedale for a while in a single wide trailer with 13 kids and
Oh,
2 parents. So it was
so
like
sorry.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we got out of the house a lot because it's like a little tiny home.
Yeah.
So we went into the woods, and it was, it's in California. We climbed up kind of up high, and these leaves started sticking on us. So we were like, oh, magic leaves. So we picked a bunch, we stuck them all over our body, and we're like, oh my God, this is magic. And so we're going to go tell our dad. And so he catches us at the door, and I go, Dad, look, we have magic leaves. And he goes, that is magic. That's poison oak. So
Yeah. Leaves of 3, let it be. Oh no. Oh my gosh.
So, I was just always like, oh, nature was so amazing to me. And so that's the thing, is like, we can really raise our vibe by being in tune with nature
Yes.
and the frequency of love. So
Learning lessons through through that.
what's
Wow.
that? I know.
And you learned a lesson through that too. Yeah.
I know.
Wow. Well, yeah. The things that we do when we're kids,
Yeah.
and still being, and like seeing the magic and everything. That's what this is all about, man. Like we so many people have gone to sleep and forgotten what it was like when it was time for recess, and you would just run out onto the playground, and you would look for your other friends, and you get to pick something where you just blow off steam. Like, we're supposed to do that, not work 8 hours a day. We're supposed to be doing that 8 hours a day, and
I love that. And that's what the grandbabies will teach us.
mm-hmm.
And our
Yes.
children,
Yes.
So
Oh, dude, I have so much respect for my son. Like, it's such a gift that he's on the spectrum, because he is completely unfiltered. Like, he doesn't care about what other people think. He's so authentic. He expresses himself. I mean, I have to rein it in and tone it down a lot, just so we can do like normal stuff, I guess. But what a beautiful, incredible mirror and reminder every day, that to lighten up and find joy and play and just be who I was before the world told me who I was supposed to be, you know? So
Yeah.
I know you can relate to that. Well, I want to ask you about the company that you're involved in. Here I have it. Put my glasses on. Sorry, because you've been talking about vibration and frequency, and I don't know anything. Is it pronounced helio or halio?
Halo.
Okay. So
Halo.
yeah, um, go ahead and explain that journey to us, if you don't mind.
So when I was this came back about 20 years ago, when I was in Lourdes, 25 years ago, actually, because when my husband was sick, I was taking him, not only to Johns Hopkins and UCSF for his Lou Gehrig's disease, but I took him to Lourdes in France.
Yeah. Wow.
And I had this incredible divine intervention, if you will, at Lourdes. What I was told, actually, Moses called me into a meeting room. It was a little bizarre, but I went into this altered state. There was no medicine involved. It was just pure, the field. And Lourdes has a lot of miracles happening there. It's quite amazing.
It's a body of water, right?
Lourdes is a grotto in the south of France that Mother Mary appeared to Bernadette, who then became a saint and all that. And I love,
Okay.
you know, Mother Mary is one of my favorite
Mhm.
characters of all time.
Me too.
And Mary Magdalene.
Yes, me too.
So I was, I was called into this meeting, and I was meeting my council of 12, which is some were had lived and walked on this planet, and others were, you know, etheric beings. So I saw them, and what I was told was, first of all, Moses said, "You're late," and he kept saying it, "You're late, you're late." And then I got pissed, and I said, "Yes, but I'm here." And so he said, "You know, you're a healer of healers," and I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I'm sure I'll find out in due time. And so I was told that sound, light, and vibration will be the healing technologies of the future. And I didn't know what to do with that at that time. So fast forward to 2019 or 2018, I'm working for a company called Amp Coil, and they're working with what you call frequency medicine. And it's basically sending sine waves into the body through a toroidal field, a coil that sits on the body.
Mhm.
And it's basically sending the messengers to wake up the cells and provide greater energy. So it's basically like a Tesla battery for your cells. So it breaks through the blood-brain barrier. And so I was working for that company, and then we started a new company called Halo. And so I was co-founder with that company that was bringing multiple frequencies simultaneous into the body. So instead of just one frequency, like a Rife machine, you know, it's like it's a little scary. I used Rife when I had cancer, but this one is such a harmonic field. So it's creating a very harmonized, coherent field that enters into the body. So I have resigned from Halo, but I still am, you know, believe very deeply in the technology. And you're going to see a lot of technology that's probably been around for a long time and just not released in some way. So, and what I see is that when we are ready to see it and to rise up, you know, the ascension is within us. It's not outside of us. So when we rise up, everything is going to be available to us. And Halo was a great
introduction
in 7 years of my life that was really important. So I've always weighed that as, you know, the tangible physical and then the spiritual aspect. But I would put my hands on every unit, and as I was screwing the last screws into them, literally, I would imagine that this would go to a family or a individual, and it would really help them. So, you know, we can infuse anything with our love and light. So it's, yeah. So Halo is beautiful. And the word, I wanted heal in there, but it wasn't in order. So that was kind of a little trick, if you will. A little marketing.
Very cool. Yeah.
So
are you familiar with the Biomedis machine, which it's probably just like that? I ordered that years ago, about 5 years ago, I think, and it came from Russia, and it was this little box, and you would pick if you had a headache, right there. I think it had 250 programs in there.
Yeah.
And so I would pick headache, and then I would set it off, and it would tell me that it was going to run for like an hour and a half. But if you looked at what it was doing, it was going through your chakras, it was going to your liver and all this other stuff. And then I also and I lost it on a road trip. It was very odd. Like, I don't know. Still have no idea. It was just, what I understood right away was I needed it to learn something, and then I didn't need to depend on it anymore.
Yeah.
But I also used, the name always, I wore a band with a frequency sticker on the inside of it, and I also used a liver cleanse from that same company, and it was really effective because the man had worked in, I've shared this on here before. He worked for a cell phone company, and so he really understood frequencies and all that, and so he wanted to turn it into a healing business, or he left that and decided, I'm going to go find the frequency for turmeric and all of these things in nature that heal us, and then somehow baked those frequencies into these stickers. And the one I did for the liver cleanse completely stopped my hot flashes, and that wasn't listed in there, like, completely. And so I'm a true believer in, when anybody talks about like frequency and vibration type machines that send those out, like, all it's doing is reminding your body that you know how to do this. But we're way down here. Like, we need those reminders, and we need the support to match
and
it, like, matching it. Sorry, go ahead.
It's like the receptors. It's like turning the signals back on in the body. Sacred plant medicines do as well. They're literally switching, flipping the switches back on. So yeah, any of those, being really mindful that you can raise your own frequency without any kind of technology. We don't need that, but it's a lot of times people want a tangible physical thing, that's saying, help me. So
it's a great foundation. Yeah. Did we just lose something here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And music. I mean, if you just play beautiful music, you literally can get that same, upliftment in your,
My son just walked out. He's doing a powwow, and he has his thunder stick, and he's literally dancing right next to me. Hey, Forrest, thank you, but can you keep it down a little bit? So it's like on cue. You're like, yeah, and then music, and then he walks out, and he literally has a thunder
vibration.
That we got at a powwow, and he's dancing.
He's like, don't forget, here's the sound, guys. It's right here. You don't need any of that.
Okay, you're back. Yeah, it's just right on cue. I freaking love my kid.
That's awesome.
Man. Shannon, what do you think through all this?
No, I mean,
Shannon's in the healing professionally, and in health insurance. So both sides.
I do that as my day job part, but no, it's so true. And I think that frequency, especially sound frequency, it amazes me because there's so much research on it. I mean, you can read paper after paper after paper, and then it just leaves you wondering, like, why isn't it more readily available? And in terms of modalities that you've worked with, I have like just a couple questions. One is, where do you go frequency wise? I love the idea of a machine that does multiple, like that's very cool. But, is there a particular, like, if you had to give somebody a starting point, what would your starting point be? Because some people say, start with a heart frequency. Some people say, start with other things. Any guidance on that? And then also, you mentioned peyote earlier, and peyote is such an interesting plant medicine. And I would also just like your thoughts on peyote and your maybe best uses for different types of plant medicine.
So the first thing about where to start is ask within.
Oh, no, I think we froze.
sit by a river.
Icasiana, can you hear us? Okay, I think she's back.
There
we are.
right there you
Okay,
because
you're back.
your body is your greatest temple, and it will tell you, because if we're asking, we're always in our mind, but if we start with asking, what's in the best interest for me, or what's going to give me the greatest healing, is to ask within. If you have to go outside of yourself, I'd start with music,
Mm-hmm.
like on Spotify or what. It's like just getting quiet, like stop looking out. The answers are all within. So that's that. Now, my answers came so much through the medicine doorway because I had a hard head. I was just like, I'm an ox. I'm a metal ox and I'm an Aries, Leo, Capricorn. So I'm like,
oh man,
get out of, it's like, I'm going to. I know what to do. And it's like, oh, come on, stop from under myself.
Yeah.
my mental fortitude. So the peyote in the native way is called the mother medicine. They're, the sweet little buttons. They look like, little feminine, very rounded. And then from the top, they flower and they become like a crown, and they're so beautiful. I would sit with a medicine person, not just, anybody. I've sat in ceremony in the teepee. So it's a beautiful ceremony. It lasts from sundown through to the next day. You're sitting up, 12 hours, 14 hours, depending on the medicine person. And it is, call it the Native American church, so that it could be worked with that medicine on this. But the teepee,
Amber's familiar.
Yeah. The teepee is symbolic of the mother and her skirt. And we're all sitting in a circle within that ceremony. There's a fire keeper, there's a doorman, there's a roadman or road woman, theater person, and then a drummer. And the prayers are so strong, and the medicine is so strong. But it really, to really be in the teepee, I think, is the best way. So if medicine calls you, the person will show up. The person that you're to work with will show up. It's like,
are we still glitching? I think we're okay. Wait, okay, she's back.
Okay. Is it me? Do you think it's me? Let me see if I have like bars.
It could be your internet. That's what was happening to me last one time. It could be.
It's always one of us.
Yeah, it's the frequency is so high.
It's good.
Like can't handle it. All of us together. It's like someone's got to be it.
Yeah, that's true. Well,
toss me out.
Yeah, we were talking about it before we went live. Amber, I mean, it's okay for me to bring this up, right, Amber? What you and Jay want to do?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but yes, go for it.
Oh, okay. Well, pretty soon. You want to start doing? It might be a weekly thing.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the weekly ceremony.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So and we invited Icasiana to, or sorry. Well, we were talking collectively. The opportunity to try it, and then to have someone available to be so that when you're trying it for the first time, or even if you've done it a few times, but you are doing it with an intention to truly work through something and allow the experience to accelerate the process of getting past your blocks. So Amber and Jay are going to start hosting a Zoom or something, or whatever whatever it ends up being. But yeah, it's so it's great to do certain things alone, but when you're starting out, it's really nice to be part of a group and have somebody facilitate the experience, because that removes the fear and it builds your confidence when someone else can guide you. So, and that's what you were talking about, being in the teepee. Is peyote a very powerful experience, like all other medicines? I don't know if she
Can you hear me?
Okay.
I think she's out again.
Thanks for bearing with us, everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. There
We're just changing places here.
Yeah, that's all it was. Just shifting energies. Oh. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So they're all very powerful medicines, and it's really dependent on the person and the intention and the collective prayer. So it has a very heart opening energy to her. And so for some of us that had, difficult mother relationships or whatever, it just seems to really open that up. And there's a lot of crying and beautiful. And the native people say tears are a prayer.
Mm. Okay. Tears are prayer.
So that's good, because that's what's happening. Okay. There we go. It says my connection is good here. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the little gremlins they got in.
Yeah. I'm looking. This is where I need more experience of trying to figure out how to support when somebody's glitching on their end, which I don't know if I could, but I wish there was something that I could do to make it more the signal more stable.
Well, let's do it.
Yeah, let's just do it physically and spiritually and emotionally. Yeah, bring some Reiki in there. There we go.
Remove all the interferences.
Yes.
Okay.
People really need to hear this. Let it through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, whew. Okay.
All right. Well, go ahead.
Maybe the medicines too don't want to be spoken about too much.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you said, go within, and you'll be called to it if you are. Yeah, exactly. I love that. But yes.
Okay. Well then, here, I'll lighten it up. Not that it was a heavy conversation. It was just, like I agree with you. Maybe that topic is supposed to be handled on the weekly group.
In private.
Yeah. Okay. That's cool. The importance for laughter in the healing process. Have you seen humor break through something heavy for someone?
Oh, absolutely. And it's because it's such a high vibration. Laughter is like, you can't help but smile and be in joy. That's why I love comedians, because they are, it's so fun to be the humor and so forth. But in ceremony, I've seen some, I'm going to actually write a book about all the medicine woman bloopers.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Because I mean, I've been headbutted, I've been bitten, I've been like this and that. I'm like, oh my God. Because
Yeah,
people
right. People have no idea.
yeah, they have no idea what it is to hold space.
Yeah.
And especially in a group, because when there's a group, they're being affected by it's like 10 radio stations all broadcasting at the same time.
Yeah.
So
And you're all connected.
so the medicine women, after, we just laugh because we're like, oh my God, this was crazy. So I used to have a sweat lodge in Santa Cruz when I lived there, and we would work with the sacred plant medicines and the sweat, which is
Wow.
two very, very strong prayers. But after that, being like heated up and you're in that space and you're thinking, oh my gosh, we are like warriors. We're literally warriors. And so I think the laughter comes more for me to lighten up, some of the rough patches and I mean, the stories that I've heard, my story may seem traumatic, but oh my gosh, it's heavy, heavy, heavy.
Yeah.
To hold someone's
Yeah.
soul and spirit while
And
they're
not absorb it.
exactly, and not absorb it. And people used to ask, well, how do you keep from that? And I just figured that my shield was really good. But then when I got cancer, I'm like, maybe it wasn't that good. So, everything is a vibration. So frequency of cancer is very low. I think I can't remember the hertz. It's like -2 something or whatever. So I don't know if I was just not protected in that way, frequency wise. So
Boundaries. Yeah. Boundaries. And
Well, it's like you're a threshold walker because you've danced with death a few times and completely empowered yourself and chose to come back.
so many
absolutely.
times. And so, your book's going to be really powerful, and I'm excited for it.
Oh, good. I'm so glad.
Yeah.
We're going to have it on Amazon, and then we're going to also release it at, Kindle, and then Barnes and Noble. We've talked to them about that from a brick and mortar perspective, because I'd love to go and talk about it and share and maybe read a little bit, because I think I'm going to infuse the words when I do the audio book, because the voice is like really important to have that frequency come through. But I'm excited about it too, because it took a long time for me to, like, I think you said that, Kimberly, is like to have the guts to let like to open up your skirt.
Yeah.
I keep hearing book club, but not like a book club where everybody reads it, just talks about it. I feel like you could turn this into something where, yes, you read parts of it, but then you talk about the lessons in it. Like, people can sign up for a course with you.
Yes.
Where, and like help them emotionally and intuitively open up and expand and get through their problems. And like, I feel like you could really turn this into a tool for a guided class.
Yes, I love that.
Like a journey.
Totally. And I would love to do that, because that's how I see it, not working so hard, and doing all these ceremonies that are, it takes a lot of energy.
It's a lot. People don't understand how much energy it takes, and you can't charge enough money, unfortunately, to take on that much energy, right? It's just like, it's a very
heavy experience.
It takes a very strong person, and to be, purified in the fire.
Amen to that. That is so
true. That's what it is, right? You've been purified over and over and over, and to be able to hold that space. And it's important for people to know, and that energy coming from you, what this medicine work really is and what it can do, because that's the most important thing right now that I see going forward with this medicine, because obviously it's coming out, it's people are starting to understand it more and more, and but it's very powerful, sacred. It needs to be used with guidance and reverence in so many ways, and it needs to be really taught about in a way that people can understand, but also have respect and know that this it's you don't want to just go with anybody working with these medicines, right? It's like we've seen so many times, even in the Native American church, the dark side of it, and these shamans, they say this and that, and then they're really there. They know how to work with the dark side with these medicines, and they program, because when you work with these medicines, you're going directly into the subconscious, even if it's on a microdose. That's why it's so important for it to be known that when when we're working with this medicine, we got to do it consciously and with intention, because we can program or be programmed with, not the purest of intentions.
That is so true. And it's what's concerning me a bit is that, now a lot of the doctors and medical field are all getting trained up on psilocybin and all that. But they're thinking of it as a prescription and not a sacred plant medicine. Yeah. And that's where we're getting further and further away, that it's now we're going to pop a pill rather than, sit in a ceremony and, hold this sacred space. So,
and then they can just keep creating the bad intentions, like not knowing,
dependency,
stay stuck in those loops. So it not necessarily it can also do the opposite and keep you stuck in there. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And that's why we always talk about the sacredness of the plant and when we do microdose, I have them breathe their sacred breath onto the medicine so that they're connecting with that. So there's a big, there's going to be a big shift, I think. And that's what I'm concerned with, that the medicine needs to be protected as sacred plant medicine.
Yeah.
And,
yes.
Everybody's doing it. They're a weekend shaman. And I'm like,
I know.
This is not the answer.
I don't know what your experience is with the psychedelic ketamine or, the synthetic stuff. And it's like, that's what they're trying to push. I don't, even in Hawaii, they're trying to push for psychedelic therapy, including, ketamine and MDMA or whatever. And it's like, to me, that's not those aren't psychedelics. Like, those are synthetic medicines that are programmed, to work and keep you disassociated.
It opens people up, and then they're using 20-year-old techniques for therapy that keep people stuck in their trauma and dependent on continuing to need it. And it's
more of a dependency and addiction. People get addicted to it, and then they're in even more pain, and now they're just like want to keep running to it because it takes their pain away temporarily. And it's just the whole reason they're in pain is because they're not wanting to be in their body, right? And they keep trying to escape and disassociate. And it's affecting a lot of elderly here. I've noticed. They've been coming into my field, and it's a thing. And I don't, promote it as it should be used, as. Anyways, it's just the pharmaceutical medicine world trying to get your money and keep you coming back and keep you disassociated.
Yeah.
Well, they're also taking parts of it and synthesizing it. So with, going into the Amazon and patenting plants. I'm like, really?
Right. Come on, give me a break.
I'd love grandmother to slap their asses.
I know.
Like, you are not to do that.
Yeah.
So it's really important to go with your gut instinct too. Like, if you don't feel safe or connected to that being, like, be really mindful that there are people in cloaks that are not They're doing it for the money. And,
Yeah,
if I could do it for free, I would love to, because that's,
I
if I
know.
was just sanctioned as,
Yep.
because that whole, the money part is, necessary, obviously, because there is an exchange that happens. But I used to, when I was working with grandmother medicine, I'd get like eggs and vegetables, and it was
Yeah.
like old school,
Trading. Yeah.
trade. It was great. So, let's envision that for our new
Yeah. Like you
way
could
of
be the
being.
community. We're the community healers, like, to help people remember who and what they are, right, for the community. And we're supported to be able to do that. And that's exactly what me and my partner have been, it's like, we don't need a lot of things. We just need a roof over our heads, some food to eat, a car, we can support, as we can do so much more if we were just relieved of the stress of the rent, and
Yes.
all that. It's like,
Yeah.
if we could just do our work, because I don't want to charge for it either. That's my biggest problem, is charging, right? And it's hard to, because it's like, you shouldn't have to charge somebody to help them remember who and what they are.
Exactly.
It's not. So it's like, how can we all come together and create, and so, I'm a part of the Hawaiian community over here, and we're building these ancestral systems back up, and hopefully, to get to a place where we have these pu'uhunuas where you go there and it's like your healing center. You get your food, you get your, all of your needs taken care of, the school for the kids, or, daycare, whatever it's going to be. But it's all just community based, and it's all off of trading, right? And then you need your car fixed. Well, I can offer you this to fix your car. You can fix my car. Like, and the whole community just, supports each other. So yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Right.
And it's interesting because I've been to several of those communities. One of them was in Turin, Italy. Forgot the name now. Anyway, that was another, like, a cult. It's like, oh my gosh, they had one leader. He was telling you who to marry and not marry.
Yeah.
And of course, his name was Falco, and he was sleeping with, the
Half of
students.
yeah.
And the first time I met him, and people were just raving about him, and all of a sudden I met him, and my whole body just like shook. So my body, your body,
Yeah.
when you're tuned, you will either be attracted or be repelled. So just being really listening in, because it's not rocket science. It's like, know yourself, and then you'll know if there's because I've had a lot of I call them spiritual marauders, little bankrupt people that are gurus. So
Yes. And yeah, we we're programmed to give our power away to other people that are supposed to be able to give us all the answers and tell us what to do. And no, that's one of the reasons we started this live, is to have a free place for people to come and ask questions and learn from other people, and feel like they're part of a community where they're being validated and heard and listened to. And outside of this, we have people communicating with us in messaging, and it's real, and it's authentic, and we all are healers. We all offer services, but that's like, because we were called to do a service, in a sense, and so it's important to us, but this connection is way more important to us. I forgot. I wanted to mention this, and then I totally forgot about it until now. I have the pieces from the fire from your opening and closing ceremonies at our retreat, because it was so beautiful, important to me, that I made sure to take pieces out, and they sit here in my studio with me.
I love that. Is beautiful. Wow. Yeah, you were very much
we were there to change. We were
connected.
Yeah, we were there to have the experience and to grow and shift, and that's exactly what happened. But I don't take anything for granted. Yeah, so that was a very beautiful spiritual experience and I honored it by bringing it back with us. Oh, thank you.
I love that. And we used to always keep the ashes and coals from different ceremonies because it
Hmm.
is, and if you're ever in the ceremony and you need to kind of be invisible, where there might be some dark forces, is put some on your face, the ashes, and then it
Oh,
just
okay.
protects you. So that's a
Yeah.
good way to be invisible to the dark energies.
You can also take like baths in ash too. I've heard, like, to purify and stuff.
Mm.
I love, and see all those prayers are infused in that ash.
No.
So that's really great.
Well,
So,
you were very kind to include us. There was a period, like an hour, when my son and I were just going to observe what you were doing, and you included him and you were drumming with him, and I put that in our promo. And that meant so much to my son as well. And you also came up to me after the opening ceremony and validated something that I would have not had any other way to, like, I knew that my son was experiencing something special and something that I couldn't teach him, and you came and found me and said, Forrest, like, you had observed him and you said he understood everything that we were saying. He understood the process and why we were doing it, and that he was directly connected to source, that there's nothing in between him and source, like they're directly connected. And that meant so much to me as a mother. Thank you. Yeah.
oh, that just, oh, and see, like one statement just in that moment, and then what happens? It's like,
Mhm.
what a gift, So that's why we're all healers, and we're all, walking this road in a good way, and we can touch the post person or the
Mhm.
clerk you know at the grocery store. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah.
Just spread your vibe.
Yeah.
Just smile, and your energy, just let your energy speak for itself, even, right? Just.
Right. And what happens is, I remember I went to a psychic, like, I don't know, 25 years ago, and he said, "Oh, you got a really big peach band." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" He goes, "You're going to attract wounded birds and crazy people." And I'm like, "Great." Can we, can
Can we
we,
ship that?
like, let's not, but most times, because of that energy, people feel safe. And I'm sure you all have experiences where people just tell their most
Oh yeah.
innermost life stories, and it's sitting in presence with that and honoring that, and not, there's no judgment to it, but it's like, wow, I
Mhm.
am sitting in a sacred container with this being.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Well, we're all activators, and so everyone here has
Yeah.
experienced, within 5 minutes of meeting somebody new, I've had people just completely, and I know everyone else experiences this as well,
Mhm.
start telling me stories, or not stories, start telling me, like, deep emotional wounds, like the deepest, most the most difficult experiences in their lives, just in meeting, like at a party or a brief conversation. Like, I used to think I must just be somebody that people trust or feel comfortable with right away. But then once I got into what I'm doing here, like, I realized that I'm an activator. But you have to be ready for that, and you have to be respectful, and you have to understand how to listen, and to understand if you're supposed to help them with a solution, or if they just needed to unload it, or, because then people are left with feeling very vulnerable and raw when
Yeah.
they expose themselves,
Yes.
and that's a very sacred moment to share with someone, and
And I think it's just saying, thank you for entrusting me with
mhm,
your deepest, heartfelt dialogue or whatever it is, because it's like, yeah, sometimes you can't, like, it's just listening. But it's also, not taking it in, for us as being porous beings, to being open, but also protected. So, we use sage, cedar, Palo Santo. So, have your little tools ready, just to clear your field. I love cedar because cedar is one of the most, we use that in Sweat Lodge, to put on the grandfather stones. And it's the wafting smoke and the smell is just so incredible. So I love that. And my son is a firefighter, so he's up in Oregon, and he gets me all kinds of
Nice.
Northwestern flat cedar. I love it. So,
Oh, lucky. That's cool.
yeah.
Wow. But
Love
thank you.
that.
Thank you for
Wanna
his
try that.
service.
Yeah.
That's a powerful and that's a really being of service job. Thank you.
Yeah. And he was saved. He was in that redwood fire in California, and his neighbors died, both sets, the top above and below.
Oh no.
And somebody banged on his door at 1:30 in the morning, and he basically got it, and he left keys in his truck and got out, and he said, Mom, the flames were just like, he thought that his tires were melting on his truck. But I think that's why he became, like you said, certain experiences cause you to make a choice in your life, and he chose to, because he felt guilty that he couldn't save his neighbors.
Wow.
And so he's been fighting fires for a few years now in Oregon, and it's very noble. These jobs are so noble to me.
Oh yeah.
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 And he prays, when he's falling trees, he lays down cedar, put your breath on whatever you're praying with, and giving a contribution and a reciprocity with nature.
Wow.
So.
Love that.
Are you doing okay on time, Icasiana?
Yes.
Okay, 4 an hour and a half in. I just keep seeing everyone gathering. Like, I feel like you and Amber are going to facilitate something really, really powerful with your medicine.
I'd love to.
Yes. Yeah. Maybe we're all going to Maui.
Yes, come over.
Yeah. And or Shannon has a beautiful, humongous, many acreage of beautiful forest behind your house, right?
Wow.
And, yeah. We've talked
So
about
nice.
that too. Wow. Do you have any questions for us, or anything that you've just been pondering recently that you wanted to talk about out loud?
Well, yes, there's one thing that keeps showing up, and I said it to somebody, a new client this morning, and I said, we need to find the shadow in the light. And so just sit with that. Like, so, we have the yin yang, and we have the shadow in the light, and the light in the shadow, and so forth. But to dispel all of the things that are happening right now on the planet, that the cloak is going to drop, and don't worry, it's going to be okay. And that's the key, is so finding the shadow within our own light. Where are those places that we're kind of fooling ourselves, or where are we or like squandering a little bit, or, oh, I don't really have to do this, I'll just do it a little bit. Well, we're having to be 100% responsible. And so because we're going to get slapped if we're little naughty ones. So especially at the level that we're at. And so I'm working on, okay, Icasiana, where are those little shadow aspects hanging out in you? And that's part of it, because, to go on a book tour and to really expose myself. I mean, it's pretty much out there, there's so much that I'm not so proud of, and the choices and so forth. But it was purposeful, and I'm not ashamed, because shame is very low frequency, but I've transmuted a lot of that, pretty much all of that, but there's always more work to do.
Yep.
We're never done.
Nope.
Well,
I think that's powerful. Shame. Shame, we think about, and we think about an event, and you tie shame to it, you tie guilt, but really you have to think of that event as opening you up to learn better.
Mhm.
You did that thing, you had that moment, whatever it was, and you did it for a purpose. It used to make me, as a child, it would very much frustrate me to hear my grandmother say, everything happens for a reason, Shannon. But she's right. And it does happen for a reason. And you have to let the feeling of when you realize you didn't do the right thing, or you did, a really bad thing, we hang on to that and we don't move into the next phase of we learned and we don't repeat. And
Mhm.
I think that's a very important thing. And it's very hard, because even when you think that, okay, I've dealt with this thing, you'll hear it and then you cringe. And, it's just a constant, we're always a work in progress.
There's always more. There's more.
Yeah.
And make it fun. Like literally, like little archaeologist of your being is like, let's dig a little bit deeper, because to be here now is incredible timing. I mean, we're all in this. I'm so happy I'm alive. I'm so happy that everything is in chaos right now, because it's shifting. There's a
It's like,
crack.
finally, thank you. We've been holding
Yeah.
space for that to happen for so long, and it's finally here. I never thought who thought it was actually really going to happen right now?
Yeah.
It's like, thank you. Yeah.
Yes. And
Well-
and keeping that state of gratitude for everything. Like when you wash your hands, public bathrooms, I'm always thinking, wow, we have warm water.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
and I get all excited, and we have soap, and my mom, when my husband was sick and I had two young children and all that, and I was like, I have to do dishes, and my mom would say, my given name was Hilda, and so she'd go, Hilda, she's from the Philippines, she goes, that means that you had food to eat, that you have dirty dishes, and you have water to wash them and soap to clean them. And I'm like, oh my God. She goes, make it a prayer. So now, it's a ritual to make that a prayer, and it's not a chore. It's like, wow, I get to do this instead of I have to, just changing have to get to is powerful.
Microdosing helps you get there quickly too.
Yes.
Yeah, I was telling Amber yesterday. I took Amber makes capsules and also cacao stars, and I ate almost a whole true albino teacher star yesterday. And I was telling myself, like, I was going to take it easy, but I also wanted to feel some type of accomplishment. And so I had made a minimal list of things that I wanted to do. But once I started to feel not high, but just the effects of like clear thinking, and I was doing my little list, I was actually enjoying it. And then later last night, I was thinking nothing felt like a chore yesterday, because I was in the flow state and I was in the now while I was doing my things, and I was appreciating getting rid of things that no longer served me, and washing things, and restoring them back to the state that they're supposed to be in, because I had neglected things for a long time, and I understood all of that because I was able to go to a place through the medicine and just push all the other stuff away. And when you were talking about shame and guilt, I used to carry so much of it, and because I was always just this like big personality and positive and optimistic, and throughout my lifetime so many people shot that down, because
Yeah.
it would trigger them into wanting to stay in a negative, negative. So I always thought that I was too much, and I needed to be quiet, or my behaviors would upset people. And it took me a long time to realize that, like, I should be celebrating that part of myself, and
Mhm.
lucky that I kept that, and moved away from all the people that were trying to squelch it. But um now, when things come up, because we do still carry a lot of us, we associate it with memories and trauma. I'm so quick to be able to say, that's 3D. Like, yes, it happened, it's okay, it doesn't matter, but we're in the ethers now. We're in such a better, higher dimension and frequency that we don't care. That stuff just doesn't matter anymore. Like, it doesn't define us. It doesn't. We always say here, it's where you place your attention.
You're right.
And so
Yes.
shadows come up, and the way you described it, the words I use is, where do I still lie to myself? What lies am
Yeah.
I still telling myself? Which is abrupt, but it's true, because there's only one definition for a lie. So where am I still lying to myself? And once I see it that way, and I'm like, okay, then the only thing I can do is correct it.
That's
you know
there's a protocol I have on behindbars.com, which is look at your shit. And it was given to me in an ayahuasca journey to help people. And I did this coffee enemas and looking in the mirror. And then when you have to go, you literally physically look at your shit physically, but also you're no longer telling yourself any lies. And that's a great protocol, just because we forget that, we start going in life and then, oh, I could bypass that, or I don't have to do this, right? And it's like, no, everything counts. Everything is counting. So the look at your shit is really the soul work because if we're working as a soul being, which we are, but we're not aware of our soul being, we're literally not going to be in alignment to our truth.
Yeah.
And so that's why, and I made it fun, coffee enemas are fantastic.
I did them to help heal my endometriosis, actually.
See,
Yeah,
it really works, and it pulls all of the crap out that you just, forgot about. And so, yeah, I'm just grateful to be here, and I'm so grateful to you ladies and for you having this format and this platform to help and to assist. So I'd love to come back once the book is out and then share a little bit.
Absolutely.
Can't wait.
Yeah. Well, and I'll connect you and Amber so that you can work with the medicine and some workshops or classes or the week, whatever, however what you want to do with it. This was a beautiful and important and such an honor to have you have a conversation with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks for going through all that you've gone through to be the light for others, and you're just an amazing soul. And thanks. I'm so grateful to meet you. And
and we can't wait for your book.
Yes.
So exciting. Yes.
That's very inspiring. For me, I'm like, shoot, I know I've been needing to do that. And it's like,
it's writing down those bones, man.
Yeah.
Well, and this kind of conversation regularly reminds me that we are preparing ourselves to, like, we're in the conscious community, we're in the spiritual community. Now that we have a group that chooses to join us weekly, it puts us in a mentor or leader type role without anything to do with ego. Okay. So this is keeping us true. This is keeping us speaking the truth. This is keeping us in our sovereignty and our authenticity. But it also reminds me that we are preparing for something when there's a mass awakening. It's us who have been doing this work and gathering these people who are going to be the ones that people are going to need
Yeah.
to remind them that they're okay, that they're not losing their minds, that there are ways to handle what you're going through. There are ceremonies, there's the medicine, um, there's healing can happen one and done. And I'm not saying you can heal all your traumas in one session, but you can absolutely transmute a bunch of stuff. And like it doesn't take years of talking about something over and over again to come out of it.
Yes.
It's just that one brutal moment of like truth and being seen and being heard and understood. And all of a sudden, everything that you've carried with you, you can just let go.
Yeah.
And the next few months are going to be a little rough, but that's, we're here.
Or not.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, and it is that it's also being in choice, that you're making the choice that all your past is the story
Mhm.
and it's complete. And now we're at a place of a choice point to say, no, I'm going to choose love. I'm going to choose happiness. I'm going to choose balance, whatever that is that you choose. And I'm so happy you guys are doing this. This is just so lovely. And the energy, somebody said something about the feminine energy, grateful for the feminine. That's so perfect. And it's soft and it's beautiful, but it's also super powerful.
It's real.
It's real.
Yeah. Well,
authenticity is the highest frequency, so
yeah, yay!
It's a whole bunch of that.
It's true. Like my little 2-year-old granddaughter goes, Lola. They call me Lola. Lola is the Filipino name for grandmother. I love it because I'm not like grandma, but I'm Lola. And she said, Lola, more juicy water. So this is like juicy water.
Oh, yeah. That's so cute.
So
I love it.
Thank you all for that and for all your beautiful listeners. I could feel their energy. There's so much community.
Everybody.
There are a lot of people that are going to hear this later on today and over the next like week or two. There's a lot of replay activity. So we're sending all of this out into the future, and thank you everyone for tuning in whenever you can and however you can. And you have an open invitation, Icasiana, to join us anytime. We do this every Friday, and you not only am I so grateful that people actually are interested in having a conversation with us, but it's a blessing when they return.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. And we'll do what we can to get the word out about your book and
we'll have you back definitely after you release that. And definitely want to stay connected. So grateful for you.
Yes, absolutely.
And you too.
When is it coming out?
April 17th.
Okay, so Shannon, you and I can take it to the conference.
Is that when 7 planets are in Aries?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Is it?
I think so.
Of course.
That's very cool.
If that is, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
And we'll take a copy.
And your Aries.
Yes.
When's your birthday?
Mine's March 27th.
March 27th.
Coming up. All right. Well,
happy birthday.
Yeah. Happy solar return.
Yes.
Thank you so much. All right, ladies. My pleasure.
Good night.
Aloha. All right. Bye. How do I leave?
I'll take you off screen because it's gonna every week it messes with me and it takes me like 3 tries to end it. Okay, there we go. So here's the first try.